Yo, what's up? What's up? It's the Hungry Millennial back again with yet another proactive pragmatism. On this proactive pragmatism, this next individual I'm bringing on to the show, Millennials Are, is jovial, magnetic, outgoing, and driven. Ladies and gentlemen, Jovan Williamson. Yo, Jovan, how you doing, brother?
And I'm doing pretty great, man. Pretty great, bro. Pretty great. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Welcome to the podcast. Like, it's unreal to have you on the podcast because, like, you played a very pivotal part in my childhood, and the man, a lot of the man that I am today, it was because of you. So I wanted to start off the podcast by saying thank you, bro. Like, I appreciate you. So my question is, well, not a question, but can you go ahead and give the listeners a little bit of a background on Jovan Williamson and who he is?
Well, before I get started, man, I just want to give glory to the Most High, man, and give all praises to my ancestors, man, and just get the time and appreciation to to how I got here, and yeah, man, I give glory to the Most High. But man, well, I can start off by my dad, man. My dad from the Bahamas, and he had came here. My mom, she's from Murfreesboro. My dad came here for school and ended up meeting my mom. They end up coming together. I guess you can say start out like that. And man, some years go down the line. I come about, and yeah. I grew up here a little bit, growing up in the Bahamas for a little bit, back and forth for some time, and I just been here in Carbondale area, just growing up, man, and I always was. I feel like I was always in the community doing things, especially when it comes to sports. I was always around, especially at a young age, man. When it comes to basketball, I started off boxing, that I think that it gave me like a real competitive edge, man, like, cause I always wanted to win, and, I was getting trained, my dad had went away for some time or whatever. And it was this guy, man, he always would, come and pick up me and one of my homeboys, man. I never knew who he was, man. And he would take us to of course I knew his name and everything. He introduced himself and everything, stuff like that. But he just started training me and my homeboy in boxing out, just out of nowhere. He'd come pick us up every other day and he'd just train us. And, come to find out, man, that was one of my dad's best friends. And he never said anything about it. He never told me he knew my dad or nothing like that, And this was around the time when my dad had got, locked up. And he stepped up and was just, teaching me how to fight and box. And then from there, I was always competitive, but I think they gave me that drive, man. And then after that, I just started hooping. I was like 11 years old, and then I just took off with the basketball stuff, But yeah, bro, just
that's real. I mean, and all, you can tell that somebody's real humble when they get nervous when they're talking about themselves. Like, what I'm saying, like that's powerful in itself. And having parents, because I never actually knew the story of who Jovan was, because going to the Boys and Girls Club, it's like you meet awesome people, but not everybody stays, because it was set up to where, like, the college students, they do their time there, do their community service, and then they get out. You don't understand that piece until you're an adult, like maybe it's a part of their curriculum, something like that. But you always stay with us, stay motivating us. Like, and one of the best things I liked was, even when people got rowdy with us, like your guys that was in your circle that, you mess with at the Boys and Girls Club, you always kept the peace. Because we had some bullies back in the day, but like wasn't nothing going down. But I didn't realize you was training in boxing. So the truth is, my man had the hands the whole time.
Oh
And,
yeah, bro. Oh yeah.
and that's interesting because you made a post on your social media page and it was about confidence and self-love.
Mm-hmm.
But you do get a confidence about yourself when you learn how to take hits and give hits.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See, it's very interesting how people, they don't really understand what makes the person who they are today. And a lot of that confidence comes from a lot of failure, like a lot
Man,
of hard times, you
that's
know,
facts.
and that's real. You know, a long time ago, I asked you about your high school basketball experience
Yeah.
because, and I love for you to speak on that because the reason why I say that is you are one of the greatest basketball players I've ever seen in my entire life.
I appreciate
Like,
that.
and for you to still be out there, you know what I'm saying, hooping, showing the kids what's up. Like, I saw a video of you, you know, and some pictures of you, you know what I'm saying, working with the kids. I had Dre on the podcast a few weeks ago, and it was just super powerful. I was like, man, I got to have Jovan on the podcast. So can you explain to me, because I think you told me you got into some trouble and it kind of, you know, like spoiled the waters a little bit, you know, with your athletic career. So how did that all go down, if you don't mind speaking on it?
Yeah, bro. I was you know, I want to say my sophomore year, man, I had gotten into, you know, in the streets, man, got into gang banging a lot, man, and hanging with I hung with a bunch of foreigners, man. It was one Asian, 3 Hispanics, and a couple brown skinned fellas, man, and we all, you know, we got caught into the, you know, the gang banging stuff, man. It was more so not trying to be like nobody, but just we was in it. We got in it, you know what I mean? Just somehow just got into it, you know. And you know, over the time and everything, we was, you know, just it started off as something, you know, we thought was cool. And then so it till we started doing serious stuff, man, and we ended up doing some things, man, and um they end up catching my boys, man, and they end up coming to one of my boys' cribs. And cause we had no idea they was looking for us, man, you know, cause we had did so much stuff over the time, and we never had got caught. So it's like over time, you know, they I guess they had some type of warrant for us, I guess. You know, we in high school, we don't know nothing about this type of stuff, man. You know, we just out here thinking it's cool getting away with this and that. But they end up coming to one of my bros' house at the time, and they end up arresting him out of his sleep. You know, his stepmom, they knocked on the door, you know, got his stepmom to get him, and they got him in his sleep. So the whole time I was at his crib the whole time. You know, I woke up like, man, where he at? Where he at? And his stepmom like, yeah, they just got him, man. We got to go to the police station and, you know, see if we can get him out. So we go there, and when we all get out the car. One of the cops come up to me and it was like, man, are you Jovan Williamson? I was like, yeah. It was like, you under arrest. It was like, you under arrest, man, right at the police station, bro. So it was like they didn't know who I was, they didn't know what I looked like, but they had a feeling you know, since I came with the, you know, his family and everything to get my guy out, they had a feeling I was one of the guys they was looking for. So at that time, you know, I was around 17, and I was you know, I was looking at 8 years at that time. I was looking at 8 years, bro. And they tried to charge me for I think it was like Grand Theft Auto or something like that, and a bunch of other stuff. We was doing some serious stuff, man. I don't want to go into too deep with that, but we was doing some serious stuff. And but like I said, it's all glory to the Most High, because once I got in there, you know, it was more like a spiritual change for me, man. I knew all about the spiritual side of life, bro, but once I got in there, it was like I had to rely on nothing but faith, man. I had nothing but faith. The bond was so high. It was like nobody could bond me. I couldn't afford a lawyer, none of that. So every day, bro, I was in there just praying, bro, praying and, you know, studying, reading the word, you know, studying, doing stuff like that. And it was this one guy in there, man. He was from Chicago, big guy, big. He was real chunky and just big. He was in there for like he was a big drug dealer in Chicago. No, down somewhere around here, but they ended up shipping him here. And we every day when we got a chance to go outside and stuff like that, man, I play him 1-on-1. And when I tell you, bro, that was the toughest 1-on-1 guy I ever played, bro, because he was like 6'2", 6'3", real chunky, and he could shoot, he could do everything, he could dribble, all that, man. So I played him every single day until I started beating him. You know what I mean? The first few times I couldn't beat him. you know, he had like this post-up game, and he'd do a little fadeaway on me all the time. And everybody who know fadeaways is like, if you got it down pat, that's an unstoppable move, man, fadeaway. But as time went on, and then imagine this, bro, we out there playing in flip-flops. We out there playing in flip-flops with the toes out.
Is that why you would always hoop us in flip flops at the Boys and Girls Club? Man, it didn't matter what shoes you had on, bro. You was giving anybody the work.
Light work, bro. But yeah, man, and you know, once I started beating him, bro, like, and it got to the point where I would look out at the glass at the window part where the guards would be at. All the guards would be in there watching us. All the guards be watching us hoop. And then like it was some guys in there, man. They'd be on the sideline. You know, it's a weird situation in spots like that. But everybody was in there just cheering, you know, watching the game, man. Couldn't wait to see us play and stuff like that. And we was just balling one-on-one. You know, and every time we go back, you know, the older guys be like, man, we're gonna watch you on TV one day, bro. We're gonna see you on TV, man. Watch. And in my head, I'm like, man, I gotta get out of here first, bro. I gotta get out of here. You know. And as time went by, man, I end up the Most High ended up getting me out of there, bro. And once like I said, it was all a spiritual experience for me, bro. I got out of there. I had to do community service. I did all my community service hours at the Boys and Girls Club. And that's when I ended up, you know, doing that. I started coaching there. I think I was, my senior year in high school when I was doing that. I started coaching there for the junior dog league they had there. And I ended up starting up the little basketball team there that I ended up playing on. Because from that situation of me, you know, getting in trouble, man, somehow the high school had found out about it, and they didn't want me playing on they didn't allow me to play any sports at the high school. Only thing they allowed me to run track because I had got a lawyer, I had got a attorney and everything, and they told me what they was doing was illegal. So they end up
because you ain't really got to try out for track nearly as much, right? Like there's not really that much of a process there. It is. Exactly. Shout out to the track people because it's tedious.
Man, bro. But you want to know what's crazy, man? When I was working out for the basketball team and everything. First, I was working out for the football team in the summer. And that's when the coaches that came up to me was like, hey, man, you know, we heard what happened to you this summer, man. You know, we can't allow you to play football for us, man. And you know, that whole
is that even legal?
I don't know, bro. They came up to me on some, and the whole time, man, they had a guy on that team that had got in trouble for fighting in the summertime, and he had to do community. And the only reason I found out about it, he had to do community service hours at the Boys and Girls Club too. And he ended up telling me his stuff was more physical serious. You know what I mean? So it was like, but they still let him play. They didn't let me play. They told me I couldn't play football. So I'm like, bet I'm gonna go ahead and focus on the sport that I wanted to play in the first place, man. So I started going to basketball workouts. And as I was going to basketball workouts, man, they did the same thing to me, man. The coaches came and was like, man, we can't let you work out for us, man. We're gonna have to ask you to go home.
I think. So, you know, go ahead. Well, I think that's a testament to the system because your story. The interesting part is, and I might be just straight just shooting out of nowhere here, but if you had more people that you knew in the system, it probably wouldn't have ever happened to you. Because I've seen people kick balls into the rafters. I've seen people, you know what I'm saying, muff coaches, disrespect them, and they still kept them on the team. That's the weirdest part. Because there's something in that system, you know, and I had keep it 100. I had talked to Dre about, you know, coaching and how the system works and, you know, different stuff. And like, obviously there's stuff that goes on in the background, but I'm like, these people were solid, like Southern Illinois Player of the Year type people, like, you know what I'm saying? Like people that would actually change the community. But carry on, brother.
Yeah, man. And then, you know, from there, man, I was just like, man, I was kind of, at first it hit me, I was a little sad, man. Then I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's what I get type stuff. You know, that's how I was thinking about it. So I was sad for a little bit, but I didn't let it, you know, get me down. So I knew I had people at the Boys and Girls Club that had my back. So I'm like, man, hey, let's, you know, can we start up a basketball team, you know, for, you know, high school? Can we start up a high school basketball team? And it was like, yeah, you know, you got to do it though. You can do it. You know, we give you the go. You can go ahead and do whatever, you know, however you feel, whatever you want to do, you can do it. So I ended up recruiting all the players in the high school. I recruited all the players that I knew was good that they didn't put on a high school team. Because when I was in high school, we had everybody that grew up on the east side knew how to hoop. If he wasn't good, he knew how to hoop a little bit. You know what I mean? Everybody that was on the east side knew how to hoop though. So and then I knew some fellas that that grew up in the other parts of the city that knew how to play, but they tried out and didn't make the team. So it's like, man. So I recruited all of them guys, Mute, this guy named Saxton. I got PT. I think PT was I think he was an 8th grader at the time. I got him on the squad. Bruce Barron.
Shout out to Bruce.
I think you was on there too. You was on the squad.
I was. I designed the jerseys.
Yeah.
I designed the jerseys because he came to me. He was like, I was doing my little drawings and stuff. It's beautiful that you mentioned that because the big BGCC. And somehow I think I got I think that year I went to Carmine White County High School because I got sent. So while you was fighting your battle, I was also kind of a knucklehead in grade school. And a lot of it kind of stemmed from, my family. Like I've been through a lot of counseling, stuff like that. And just, I didn't really love myself and I could never take personal responsibility for anything, and, going to shout out to the Carmine Baptist Children's Home. They showed me love like no other. It was tough love. Like at night, I mean, it felt like a prison sometimes because like every day you had to make your levels to even have freedom the next day.
Wow.
Like you go there and like all the doors on the top, they had like alarms. Like they had bars. Like at a certain time they would lock it. Like they can't lock you in the room, but they would set the alarms and you couldn't go outside your room. Like you had a little bathroom in there, you're rooming with somebody you don't know, you get into sports. Like I was over there hooping, bro. Like I was over there playing football. Like it was beautiful because small towns, it was similar to Murfreesboro. Like you're gonna have the flyest jerseys, you're gonna have, everything was cool, but that was a part of me being hard-headed and just not knowing what to do as a youngin'. Because my pops, he worked at the Boys and Girls Club too, fixing stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest problems was, like he was way older. Like he didn't have me until he was 30. So he really couldn't relate and he really couldn't connect with the people, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like he wanted to, you know what I'm saying? To like to really reach me. You know what I mean? Like it was people like you and other people that really, they reached me. Yeah. And if you reach one, each one can teach one. You know what I'm saying? And it creates this, it's kind of crazy. It creates this just melting pot of a bunch of knowledge of things that you don't want to do. So even though I didn't know none of your story, it was, it was the, the God in you and everything else that I'm like, man, like, but I didn't know, man, you were so heavy on it, but you've always been able to connect to the streets. That was the most beautiful, because a lot of people, I posted something on Facebook. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I posted something on Facebook that said, it's a lot better to be nice to people than to post scriptures and send them out to people. And, but people don't understand that type of love because, whatever, religion, we try to be respectful on the podcast of everyone's religion. But and the Bible talks about how Jesus turned water into wine. Like he wasn't like some guy that's in there yelling at people, doing all these different things, Exactly. He was showing people grace and meeting them where they are, like right there. Right. And you being in a community and stuff like that, because, Lord willing, within the next 5 years, I'm going to try to launch the Hungry Millennial Network as a nonprofit. Okay. And then reach out to the communities because I want, so it's individuals like you that help reach the young, the young kids. But I think it would be beautiful to take veterans and take them to the community to talk to cats, because a lot of people was in the military, like in our community, but we just never knew. So when Veterans Day and all that stuff comes around, it's like, whoa. But like one thing that actually helped change my life, later years, was visiting a veterans home, like seeing all the different colors of the different people that had served before us. And it was like, that was powerful because they still need love too. They still like to chop it up too, Exactly. And a lot of them need jobs too. They just, like, it's weird. You get to retirement age and people, they retire you versus, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't ever visualize ever retiring, you know what I mean? Because at that point it's not lively. Like I've seen the lifestyle, but yeah. My bad, bro. I kind of stole your thunder a little bit.
Nah, you good, bro. Good.
But yeah, our stories was very similar, and I didn't know why I connected so much with you, but it does make sense now. And I appreciate you starting off that basketball team because I had no clue where the roots of that was coming from. But that changed my life because, you know, even throughout grade school, you know, we were all children, and so I showed the most grace to people. But there were certain people that was on the team that were bullies.
Oh yeah,
But
you know that.
but you gave me the strength through my hooping ability, like to go back at them with the rock. You know what I'm saying? Because there's certain individuals that would show up at the gym and they would, you know, like, and they thought they was finna shoot me out the gym. So like, I got a little confidence, and we going back and forth, and I'm getting this person heated, and it was just a beautiful experience because I'm like, I worked on this jump shot for a long time, like you know, and that was just an amazing experience. So are you still connected to the Boys and Girls Club, or how's that?
I mean,
because I remember there was a situation back in the day that I didn't know why. Didn't they terminate you for a while or something like that?
They it was man, it was weird, man. I really didn't know what happened, but I ended up working back there again some years after that, you know what I mean? Because it really the way it happened, it really wasn't, it didn't have
seemed petty. Like it
didn't have
seemed
nothing
like
to do with
what'd you say?
it didn't the reason why they did it didn't have nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? Like it was a misunderstanding. And when I had talked to them, they I guess after a while they finally understood and ended up, you know, rehiring me after I got back from school, came back here.
Okay.
So
well, and that's weird bureaucracy, red tape stuff. And it's good that like young kids have a guy like you in their life. You know what I'm saying? To like break stuff down, because there's so many things out here, bro, that like will destroy your confidence. It'll destroy you on the inside because it feels like you never got to tell your side of the story.
Oh yeah.
And if people just seek to listen, they would understand that you weren't doing anything maliciously and that they probably overstepped their bounds. Like that's the hardest part is, you know, even skin color aside, you know what I'm saying? Like just people in general, there's this condition to like not trust and believe people, you know, and not continue to believe in them. Everybody wants to cancel people. Like people don't realize we was getting canceled before it was cool on social media.
Man.
Like we were basically canceled at birth. You know what I'm saying? Being in the situations in the neighborhoods that we was been in, like it's a miracle that we're here today. Like a lot of people, you know, we talk about the cocky, arrogant thing. I'm like, you don't realize what I had to go through, all the homeless shelters I had to be in this spot right here, the system that you have to fight. Because the truth is I was one step away from making a similar decision. You know what I'm saying? Just hanging out with Nuck in them. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got that story. You know what I'm saying? Wrong place, wrong time. Some of the greatest athletes I've ever seen. Wrong place, wrong time. And lack of an ability to take ownership of anything. So, you know, they just round us up all together. So you went back to the Boys and Girls Club. So how did you transition into getting a coach at the coaching position at Carbondale Middle School? How did that work out?
I ended up I was always me and Dre, we was cool, man, for years, bro. And we ended up a while back, we had opened up a store with each other. Well, it was some other people that worked, you know. We ended up working at a store with each other, ended up working there. And then we ended up working at another store that we opened up together with, you know what I mean? So me and him, we just kept on being around each other, just on some working stuff type stuff. So one summer, man, it was I put something on Facebook or something somehow, but he ended up hitting me up like, hey bro, if you want to come over and help me out, you know, with the coaching and stuff, man, just, you know, do this and do that. And I end up, you know, doing what he talked to me about, and I end up filling out some stuff and got a call back a couple days later. And what's crazy is around that time, I had got a job offer from the Boys and Girls Club. This was just like 3-4 years ago. I got a job offer from the Boys and Girls Club, and I had two type of jobs, and I ended up going with the school job, and yeah, man, and ended up coming over to the middle school I want to say that was what 2018, I think 2017, something like 2018, and started coaching with Dre and Kobe. And man, the way Dre, man, the way he, you know, set the I kind of feel like he kind of set like a little bar when it comes to how he set up a lot of things for the community when it came to the, you know, the cops versus students game. And like, man, I just seen that and I respected that about him, man, because, you know, for him to be that young and you know, kind of passionate about basketball and was, you know, trying to show the youth, I seen somebody was trying, you know what I mean, at the time. And I was like, man, hey, I'm here, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I respect that. So I end up, you know, being the assistant of the team that year, and then the next year they end up hiring me on as the full-time 7th grade basketball coach. And yeah, man, I got into it, but I always been coaching, man. I've been coaching since I was like, I want to say since I was 15, 16, around that 15 years old. You know,
yeah, because I think. Were you in the same league that me and my dad had a team in, like the little junior league thing?
Yeah, the junior sports, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Like, but go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I started coaching my cousins, man, Sim and Josh, man. I had coached them one year, and I had like trained them and stuff like that. And the very next year, they made the middle school team. And from there, you know, we all know how the twins are, man. But from there, they kept on hooping and, you know, playing football and stuff like that until they got to high school. But from there, I started working with the junior sports, and I had coach Dre brother, Man at the time. I had coached him and my cousin Sim. I think they was on the same team at the time. I think it was Sim or Alex Davis. I know I coached both of them though. I coached Sim, Alex Davis, Miguel Jackson. The team that I have, man, the team that I had with Miguel Jackson. The team I had with Miguel Jackson, bro, we went undefeated, man. Like we went undefeated the whole year. It was Miguel, Aisha. You remember Aisha?
Mm-hmm.
Aisha, Fatto, Jordan.
Yeah.
And a couple more. It was I forgot the Asian guy name that was on the team, but he was a killer. He was a lefty. Mm-hmm. I had a squad, bro. I had a real life little. That was my 4th grade team, bro. We went undefeated, man. And then my
Asia, I think Asia. I think she was on one of my teams the year before, a couple years before that.
Yeah,
yeah, man.
She was a killer. She was a killer, bro.
But once we got our confidence up, it was over. It was over. Like, I'm just, you know, a lot of times it's like, you talented, just go crazy.
Yeah, bro. And from there, man, that team that I had with I believe I got me and Alex Davis that we had coached. I think I want to say 5th grade. It was a 5th grade squad. We ended up getting 3rd place that year, and then I ended up coaching a man team the next year after that. And yeah, man. So I always was coaching and stuff like that, and you know, doing stuff like that for the youth. But at the time, I was around their age. A lot of them didn't know I was real close to their age, you know. So I was like 17, 18, 19 doing all that.
That's facts, because we used to call you Mr. Jovan. Like whole time, like he close to our age. Like I literally thought you was a college student, bro. Because A, how you carry yourself, man, and then B, how you could relate, but still keep it on a respectful tip. You know what I'm saying? Like that's powerful, because people they talk to me and they like, and that type of spirit, like it soaks into other people.
Yeah.
So many people ask me, they're like, "Oh, well, how you stayed so disciplined? Like, you must be like," they think I'm like 35, and I'm like, "No, I saw what right looked like, and I saw what wrong looked like." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I literally made a podcast the other day of like one of the bonus motivational episodes I put out, and I was just talking about like people, like mentally you create a boardroom of the people that like kind of keep you, you know what I'm saying, keep you on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean? And sometimes I don't even know who I'm visualizing there, but I know how certain people move. I know what energy looks like. And that's one of the main things that you exude is that energy. That energy, like energy is not created. It's transferred. And people don't understand that. You don't create energy. It's transferred. You can give people your energy. and then you can't really get it back, and then you rest and you get more energy from your cells that are constantly going, and then you eat the food, and then it also attacks to your veganism. You know what I'm saying? Like that's super powerful.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that right there, man, that was all spiritual, man. For me to jump into being a vegan and stuff like that, that right there happened to me on some real spiritual stuff, man. I had a basketball game this day that I was gonna play in, so I'm like, man, let me go get I had a taste for some salami, so I'm like, man, let me go ahead and go up here, give me some salami, man, and make a salami sandwich, So I'm in there, I'm in a grocery store, looking around. I pick up the salami, and I literally, no joke, it came to my head like, man, read the back of the ingredients, in the salami. Read the back of the ingredients. So I looked at the back of the ingredients. I'm like, okay, got this amount of protein. Okay, bet. And the voice, I heard it saying in my head, the voice was like, man, now go over there by the vegetables, man. Go over there by the fruits and vegetables. So I walk over by the fruits and vegetables, and I see it was some vegan salami. So I'm like, vegan salami, what is this? So I picked the vegan salami up and did the same thing. I looked at the ingredients. And when I tell you everything on the back of the ingredients of the vegan salami was way better than the meat salami. So it had more protein. The vegan salami had more protein, more calories, but it was just healthy. So I'm like, bet. I put the regular salami back, and I picked up the vegan kind. And I went up and got some. I got some spinach, and I went and picked up some bean burritos. And I'm like, man, okay. So I get home, eat all the vegan food and stuff like that. And I had a game later on that day. So it's about time for the game. And I'm in the warm-up lines, man. My legs is feeling real springy and bouncy. I'm like, man, I ain't felt like this in a minute. Like I'm finna go up there and do some type of windmill dunk or something, man. That's how I'm feeling, man. So I'm like, so once the game started, bro, I think I had dropped like 30 that game. And that was the highest points I had scored that year in a game. So I'm like, man, that was my sign. Like, I knew it was spiritual, but from me having that good game, I took that as like, you know what, I'm gonna see how long I can do this. So as I kept it up for about a month. Within that first month, that was the hardest time and everything, And then after that first month, I just stuck with it, man. Just stuck with it. And like 5-6 years later, man, I'm a vegan.
That's real. Well, that's powerful because you did two things there. You stayed consistent. You went for the hard thing, and that is what I try to tell people all the time. Make the change, but continue making a change, because in the beginning it's going to be rough. It always is. Like the podcast that I made today it was about the blueprint. You already got the blueprint to life. Life is already telling you spiritually everything that you need. And in the metaphysical, it's telling you everything that you need. It's right there. But so many times as people, because we fallible, you know what I'm saying? We human beings. We all got our scarlet letter that we rocking with us. We get caught back into that. But that consistency and then fueling your body the right way.
Exactly.
Like as I get older, because it's hard packing lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just like, I don't know if I want that or I want that. But then, I realized I was at Aldi's one day and I just started buying all the vegetables, like the frozen vegetable packets. They cost like 75 cents. Like I can literally split them, or $1.75, some of them, depending on what you're getting. But I can literally split them in 2 days, right? Wow. So for lunch, you literally pay less than $2. But if you go get the Burger King, boy, you go to McDonald's, now supersize me, and a lot of those macros, the way the calories and the cholesterol, all that stuff is like packaged to where like you never feel like you're actually full.
Yeah.
Because your body, it does different things. I was doing the research. Like I get really like, I don't know, giddy when I see something. I'm like, what is that? So I just go down the rabbit hole like you was talking about. You look at the salami, you look at the vegan one, you look at the regular one, you like, same difference. The flavor might be slightly different, but like I can make a better choice here.
Exactly.
And you feel the results. Like I feel like working out and doing the McDonald's boy and doing all that, like I felt bad. I felt horrible throughout the day, like, and especially as a FedEx man, you got to finish the rest of the route. Like you done already worked out the whole day. So now you throw in garbage for lunch, you eat, you know, the McDonald's burger, whatever, you gonna be dying the rest of the day, dog.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a lot of them, you want to wash it down with a soda.
Exactly.
Like I can count on both of my hands basically how many sodas I've had in the last year. And it's powerful because it's also relative to my deployment. They ain't really had no soda there. So, and the water, it wasn't the best, but we had bottled water because you can't drink the water overseas. Like it's so bad. Like they don't have like the right filtration systems. But that's powerful. So my question with the veganism, how do you balance that with coaching? Because you know, the thing is with travel, like I remember, you know, being, you know, on the bus with Coach Miller and them, you know, because I was a photographer for a while because I just couldn't run it. I just couldn't stay away from basketball. You know, I loved it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we'd always have to get some pizza or stop somewhere. So how do you manage that? How do you balance that? Because I think it'll be good for the listeners to think about different ways that they can still consume healthy food, even if they're not vegan.
Man, when I started off, I took the vegetarian route, so it was kind of more, it was a little easier. So it's like, you know, every now and then I get pizza and stuff like that. You know, what I mean, it was a little bit more easier with the cheese and stuff. You know, with being a vegetarian. But what I would do was, you know, I either go out to the co-op. You know, I started eating the stuff that they made out there. You know, just for takeout instead of going to Burger King and all stuff like that. I just go to the co-op, and then I certain Chinese foods. You know, they do the vegetarian thing, and you know, but it was kind of easy. But once I became a vegan, that's when it was challenging to find out, you know, where I can eat at different places. So a lot of times when we hit the road and everything, either I bring my own stuff, I have my bag, I have like sometimes I have I go with the nuts, the cashews, you know, the walnuts. I just pack my own stuff, dried mangoes, because really it's not that many vegan restaurants around this area. So it's like that's in bigger cities, you know, you got vegan restaurants or vegetarian restaurants all downtown and stuff like that. But yeah, man. So some days I just order some stuff from Lone Branch, you know, eat it before the game while I go to Moe's, you know, get their veggie bowl. Yeah, bro. It just got to the point where I was just real disciplined enough to know, like, okay, I know when I go here, I won't be able to eat nothing there. So I either had the stuff in my bag, you know, that I packed with me, or I just be on chill mode with the food, man. Because I got to the point where I understand what food is used for. You know, we a lot of times we eat to, you know, fulfill that little hunger.
Yeah.
But that don't mean we should be eating at that time. You know what I mean? So, you know, so it's like I got to the point where it's like I got so disciplined, man. I knew that some days I could eat just one meal later on that day. You know what I mean? I can eat one meal and be good. You know, then I got to the point where because I tested out a lot of different things, man. I tried the eating 3 times a day. I tried the intermediate fasting, eating once a day later on in the daytime. So that built me up for being on the road. You know, it built me up for being on the road, traveling a lot and everything, and to the point where I knew my mind was telling me that I was hungry, but I just knew maybe I need some water. You know what I mean? I just need some water. So I started drinking a lot more water when I became a vegan. When I ditched the vegetarian part and just became a vegan, I started drinking a lot more water. And that's when I realized, man, like part of the hunger is because of dehydration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I started
water.
Yeah,
water is the ultimate love juice for your body.
Man,
and
bro.
That's how you really show your body love. You get healthier hair, you get healthier skin. You reduce the amount of money that you spend on pops and sodas and drinks. And a lot of times, like I get these little Gatorade, you know, pouches. They call it Squincher, but they way cheaper. So I buy a bunch of them, you know, every year. And then, you know, if I need a little couple extra electrolytes, I'll put it in there. But the steps that you took, they're even more powerful because all over the place, like you have to figure it out. Like the intermittent fasting, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people won't do these things like in the morning. So I was doing some research on like there's this guy that talks about brains on YouTube. I don't know. I just go down YouTube rabbit holes that are, you know, And he was talking about like how he's more focused in the morning when he doesn't consume calories. So what he'll do is he'll do, you know, the coffee in the morning, you know what I'm saying, to just kind of get his spirits high, you know what I'm saying? But he won't do food with it. And, you know, I started doing that, and then I thought about it, like my protein powder actually doesn't have any sugar in it. So I was like, I can literally, so I'll drop the ice in the coffee, just, you know, a couple of cubes, and I shake it up with the protein. So while I'm at the gym and in the morning, like while I'm driving to my route, I got my protein. I got some nutrients in my body, but I'm not overeating. So at night when I get home, I ain't no vegan, bro. But you know what I'm saying? Like when I get home, I can smash because I haven't consumed all those calories. Or you know, and sometimes, you know, I might grab a couple, you know, donuts in the morning or whatever. But like I'm always constantly active, so I burn through a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so by the time that I get to lunchtime, I'm actually hungry because I started, you know what I'm saying, working out my body, and I could eat the vegetables. You know, I could season them a little bit, throw some season on them, you know what I'm saying, do the thing. So that was definitely a huge question for me because I'm like, man, how do you balance that? But a lot of it comes down to preparation.
Oh yeah.
And in life, if you prepare, it'll take you so much farther. You be ready because, you know, another great thing that you did was you implemented discipline. And if you implement, I think John Travolta was talking about this. He was like, fail on your own metrics, on your own, make your goals so high for yourself that you fail that way.
Exactly.
So that way, if you fail at anything else or somebody puts something in front of you, you brush it off like, that ain't nothing. Because I've seen worse than this. And a lot of times people lack perspective, bro. They lack perspective. Like they haven't done anything hard. You know how hard it is to really be down bad in America?
Man, bro.
Like compared to other places, like to really be down bad in America. Like you got people with iPhones in their hands texting on Facebook talking about how bad they got it.
Exactly.
I'm like, wait, hold on. Is that not an oxymoron? You know? And that energy, you know what I'm saying? And that energy is like when you start communicating, you know, that way, you know, about things, that negative energy comes back because now you didn't already put it out into the ether. You know what I'm saying? But like that positivity comes from the food.
Oh yeah.
That's super powerful. I appreciate you sharing, you know, how you got to veganism with us because I mean, that's kind of everything. And so you know, we talked about the food and the health, you know, the health thing. So when it comes to, because we don't come from the greatest background, and I can see how players can be difficult to deal with because we were difficult to deal with. So how do you, you know, when kids get into it, how do you approach, you know what I'm saying, their issues and different things like that?
Man, bro, I've been working with kids, man, since I was little. So it's like it come like for me is I almost want to say it's something natural, like normal, I guess now, you know, dealing with kids and, you know, when they have bad days and attitudes, stuff like that, man. But one of the things that I do, I make sure I take my time and listen to them. Take my time, listen to them, man, hear what they got to say. I don't be quick to judge them, man. I treat them like family, you know what I mean? Like, because I don't want them to ever leave from where I'm at and go to the crib and be like, man, you know, such, then, you know, he didn't listen to me, man. Like, nah, I want them to always remember, like, man, hey, come to me about anything, man. I'm going to always be here for you. I'm going to always listen to you. It don't matter if you got to call me on the phone. It don't matter if you got to hit me up on social media, wherever, man. Hit me up before anything, bro. Anytime you feel like you about to do something, come talk to me. And that's what my basketball players do, you know, especially seeing me in the school with them. You know, I a lot of times, man, they come to me and allow me to help them. You know, they'll listen to me and that'll keep them out of trouble. It got to the point where, you know, they quicker to listen now, man. You know what I mean? Which is, to me, that's I gotta give glory to the Most High because like it's the vessel, you know what I mean? And for them to be able to hear what I got to say and they do it. You know what I mean? So it's like it just come natural for me now, bro. Like I kind of, you know, it's to me, it's really no techniques or nothing like that. It's just the fact that you gotta. I feel like you have to be able to understand them. You got to
step in the trenches,
man, bro, and be real
without judgment. Because
Without
the
judgment.
other day I was on my FedEx route, and it was two brown skinned gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? They were sitting at the stop sign, but you also know like how people see us when we sitting at a stop sign or at a corner. It's been conditioned, since the birth of a nation. That movie years and years ago. Even when we wasn't eating chicken, they had people in blackface with their feet on the desk eating chicken. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Perpetuating all these stereotypes, and I was like, hey, what y'all doing down here? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all better be, not be in trouble, and I try to, like, that's why I keep myself, I try to do the wave thing and line myself up and do all that. Cause they can relate to that.
Exactly.
They can relate to that. Cause it's a brother that ain't, and shout out to the brothers. It's a little bit different, right? But when you connect it to the culture, you can reach the culture on levels that other people can't. But the problem is you got a lot of cats that they don't have fathers in the home. Cause you get more money as a parent when you got a single parent household. Ain't that crazy?
Yep.
A lot of animosity comes from, like, if you get told every day that you ain't nobody and that they don't need you, are you gonna want to be there? You know what I'm saying? And then that same energy gets perpetuated to the kids later. Because what we're finding now is a lot of single moms depend on the child, and they give them all this stuff. Like, now they got the J's, they got all the clothes, they got all these things, and then they get thrown out into the world. You a man now, you 18, and if they didn't have somebody like you, Jovan, in their life, a world of hurt, because you just keep going in these cycles. Because ain't nobody ever talk to you and try to reach you on your level. Like, you have to reach them on their level. Like, my philosophy is my troops don't work for me. I work for my troops. Well, and when you take that mentality, that will take care of you all the time. Like, that's just something that in everything you think of, how can I keep them safe? How can I reach them on their level? Because every soldier, every person, every kid is different. They got different things going on. And you ain't gonna know. They're not gonna come to you unless you have conversations with them and let them do their thing. Exactly. I'm glad that you do that and meet them where they are, because so many coaches and different people, they never did. Man, they meet you enough to help you get the grades and slide by, and to make their team and to win them regional championships and all of those things. But after that, lights was out.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They did their job. Now they going home. And here's the truth: is a lot of systems aren't set up for them to not do that. Because if they don't do what they supposed to do and they don't get numbers, they gone.
Mm-hmm.
And now, you know what I'm saying? That's the hardest part, like, of how life is set up. But I'm glad that you was in the fold for them, and I appreciate you being there for me.
That's all love.
So I know the podcast running a little long, but what is there anything that you'd like to leave us with? Leave the audience with. You have can you leave us with a kind of a pointer, some wisdom before we end the podcast?
Yeah, before I do that though, I want to give a shout out to my boy Stephen Burns, man. Because he that man he took the time out, man, after I graduated from high school a little bit to train me. He had seen me while I was coaching, because like I said, I was coaching. I've been coaching for a while, but I started coaching the Boys and Girls Club high school.
We back.
Oh yeah. And I was coaching the Boys and Girls Club high school team at the time, and he came there as a volunteer. And we was scrimmaging one day, and I ended up scrimmaging with the fellas. And he after we got done scrimmaging, he was like, "Hey man," he's like, "Do you still you feel like you still want to play ball?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. I never gave up on it. I just
You said who was scrimmaging? Sorry, I lost part of the podcast.
Oh yeah. We were scrimmaging, man, and after the scrimmage, he came up to me. He was like, "Man, do you still want to? Do you still feel like you can play ball?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Man, you pretty good, man." I'm like, "Yeah."
You talking about J.E.?
Nah, this guy named Stephen Burns. His name Coach Burns, one of the coaches that started training me. He started training me a little bit after I graduated from high school, and then he ended up getting me some college workouts, and that's how I ended up getting my first scholarship. He ended up taking me up to Springfield, to this school called Benedictine University. and I ended up getting a scholarship offer. I ended up hooping against the players in front of the coaches, ended up getting a scholarship offer, and I ended up going there for a little bit. And from there, that's when I started getting my confidence up, because my coach at the time, he had just interned for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So they, we at the few practice sessions, man, the coaches, they had the head coach had a meeting with me. He was like, man, me and the other coaches, man, we feel like you can go pro. And from there, that's when I started taking basketball serious. And then I ended up, I didn't stay there too long, but I ended up coming back here. I ended up getting recruited to play over there in Peru. And some stuff, I had came back to Carbondale, and some stuff that ended up happening. And I had to stay around Carbondale. I had to pass up on that offer. But a couple years later, I ended up playing pro again, and ended up playing with JD team, his professional team that he had down here. And that's when I took another turn and transitioned to took a step into where I was supposed to be at. Okay. And I end up, speaking in front of the kids, and that school that I went and spoke to, that's the school I ended up working at the next year after that. So I just kept on taking these steps into the Most High was leading me into the right places, to the point where, like I say, I ended up talking to Dre, and I ended up started coaching here with Dre, and end up becoming the coach. But Stephen Burns, man, shout out to Steph Burns, man, Coach Burns, man, because he took the time out, man, to really train me. That was the first time that I ever had somebody train me, bro. Like, literally put me through some training sessions, like really showed me some things about basketball. Because I was always good, but I didn't have nobody ever trained me. Nobody showed me how to hoop. I just knew how to hoop. And he actually taught me a lot of different things, man. And from there, I just took off, bro. And I started, like I said, I started coaching, and man, from there, my spirit life went up. My spiritual life went up, bro. Like, that's when I became a little before I started the vegetarian thing. And once I started the vegetarian path, bro, my spiritual life started to go up. I started to change, spiritually, even for the greater. And that's when I ended up growing my hair out. A lot of people grow their hair for styles and stuff, man. Like, this was all spiritual, bro. Like, I was led to grow my hair out, and once I started, continuing going on that path, man, I literally stopped going to church and all that, bro, because I got woke up, like the Most High woke me up to what's real out here. So I stopped attending, different buildings and stuff like that, because I started understanding what it was for. And I knew it wasn't for me, and and I got in tune with my ancestors, man. I got in tune with my ancestors, and that right there allowed me to be a better, I guess you can say, a leader for the youth, man. Just being in tune with my ancestors, man, being in tune with the Most High, bro, and actually knowing that I'm here for that. I'm here to lead for a reason. Like, me knowing my purpose, bro. Like, now I know what I'm supposed to be doing out here, bro. So it's like, I guess one of the things I will say about, the answer to your question is, man, that you asked me for the commercial break, is get in tune spiritual, man. Get in tune spiritually, man. Get in tune with who you are, get in tune with your ancestors, get in tune with the Most High, take that time out to understand that we are more than just what the public and the government system try to tell us, man. We're spiritual. We're the most spiritual people on this earth. And this is our earth. This is our land. This is our planet. You know what I mean? And when I say "our," I'm talking about the brown skinned people, and being in tune with yourself spiritually, that allows you to love yourself. Love yourself, build up yourself, focus on yourself, focus on doing what you need to be doing to better yourself. And that right there allow you to grow spiritually,
That's real.
And what's crazy is, bro, that time during that pandemic, when it first started up, bro, it took me, my health went up. I went raw vegan around that time. When it first started, I went raw vegan. I wasn't cooking food. I was just eating raw. Every now and then I eat some quinoa or something like that I had to cook. But that for about that whole first 2 months of that pandemic, bro, I was raw vegan. I was jogging every other day. I was hooping all the time. I got in incredible shape, bro. Like, incredible shape. It was almost like some powers was in me. You know what I mean? Like, got put into me. And it just took my health to a whole nother level, man. And that's when I really tapped into something to really realizing like, man, this is some stuff that they don't teach us this, because once you get in tune spiritually, you get in tune with nature. You get in tune with the food. You start understanding that the food that you put in your body is supposed to heal you. You know what I mean? It ain't supposed to, you know, cause you to have diarrhea or nothing like that. It's supposed to heal you. You know what I mean? So it's like, then I got in tune. Basically, I wanted to say, man, just be in tune spiritually, man. Be in tune spiritually and connect. Go ahead, bro.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you know, and for people of all races, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is also, it's like people, everybody is just, they be going through. But with the answers, like you said, it starts with self. It starts with self-awareness. All people, if they learn to be more self-aware, they're gonna be a lot more gracious. They're gonna have a lot more gratitude. They're gonna treat other people as human beings, as humans. You know what I'm saying? And love is gonna come their way. So, you know, I definitely appreciate you coming on the podcast, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
And I wish you the best in the future. I'm gonna reach out, man. Because I want to, you know, in a couple of years, I'm deploying again next year, but in a couple of years, I'm gonna reach out to you and we're gonna chop it up, see what the community needs, see how we can kind of fill some of those holes and those gaps, and pay homage to the people who came before us. Because a lot of them didn't have a voice, a lot of them didn't have the charisma that we have, a lot of them didn't have the opportunities that we have. Social media is extremely powerful. So, bro, keep doing what you do. Keep spreading positive messages and positivity to everyone. We appreciate you, Jovan.
I appreciate you. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jovan Williamson.